welcome back to the channel. Alpha updates on 0x Atom Car Club, Thingies, Buzzies and Eggs, plus a whole bunch more. This is Into the Futureverse, and today is Friday, the 29th of July of 2022. Now give that like button a bunnies up, and let's get into it. Okay, Fluffle fam, a whole bunch of stuff to get into today. There's been so much alpha drop. Just in the last 7 days, McDonald has been on 3 Twitter spaces and a YouTube interview, and he's been dropping alpha left, right and center. So let's get into it. First up, I wanted to cover Boardbox, who are doing a collaboration with the Atom Car Club. You can mint one of these Boardbox NFTs for 1 ETH, and inside of it contains an Atom Car Club membership plus 2 Atom Cars, one being the Mars Speeder. Now unfortunately it's struggling to mint out during this bear market cycle, but if you're looking for a bargain you can actually pick these up on the secondary market for just 0.48 ETH, so that might be something to consider. Who knows, but maybe that second car could be this one pictured here that Aaron leaked during a recent Twitter space. It certainly looks like a Dune buggy to me. Now reading between the lines, we've got a Mars Speeder and a Mars background behind one of the Seekers, and now it looks like we have a Dune buggy and we have a Dune scene in the Scenes and Sounds collection. Are these going to be racetracks for the Atom Car Club? Now in last week's video I covered at length 0x and since then they've had their own Twitter space announcing their mint details. Their mint is going to take place on the 23rd of August and their collection size will be 11,138 with a mint price of 0.1 ETH. That's a pretty ambitious goal given the current state of the market. However, what they're building sounds quite unique and has some good backing, with over 300 developers and animators in their midst, not to mention their own streaming platform. This almost sounds like they're trying to create a decentralized Netflix/Spotify, allowing Web3 creatives and enthusiasts to better support and monetize their hard work. And during the Twitter space, it was pretty heavily hinted that it would be beneficial to hold more than one of these NFTs, and there would be a collectible nature to them. It sounds like there could be some gamification and lore behind it as well, kind of like we've seen with the Silo Seekers mint. Okay, next up it looks like Angelbaby might be about to have another performance, this time in a collaboration with Rave Club. Rave Club performed a few days ago at the Tomorrowland Music Festival. Tomorrowland is a 21-day live music experience in Belgium and has over 2.3 million followers on Twitter. It kind of sounds like a big deal, and you can live stream the performances as they happen by visiting their website or downloading their mobile app. Now another potentially massive bit of alpha that hasn't generated much hype or interest yet is what the team at universe.xyz have been working on with NFT Embed. Aaron's calling it one of the smartest plays in NFT infrastructure, and it's not hard to see why in this video. It looks like Universe is poised to be the Opensea of the Root network, and using NFT Embed will bridge the divide between Web3 and Web2, with artists easily able to sell their NFTs from anywhere. And keep in mind the payment protocol Immersive and CentraPay are part of the Centrality ecosystem, so it may be quite possible for users who don't even have a Web3 wallet to purchase their very first NFTs using a credit card or fiat currencies. It's this sort of seamless user experience that'll help onboard the masses to Web3 without them even realizing it. And having the native wallet tech of Silo, the payment infrastructure of CentraPay and Immersive, along with the NFT Embed widgets, could form a powerful tool to help onboard the masses into Web3. Next up, we have some alpha about the eggs, and it's been well known for some time now that eggs would be used to allow other NFT collections to join FLUF World and the Third Kingdom in a 3D environment. Aaron posted some alpha here, suggesting that the entire Bored Ape collection has already had 3D rendering complete for any owner to create a 3D version of their 2D NFT, and it's long been rumoured that using an egg would allow you to do this. Aaron also dropped some alpha on the 3D models that we can expect to receive in our burrows starting next week.
Is it interoperable to move from metaverse to metaverse? Is that the idea?
Yeah, so behind each one of these is a set of 3D models. I think this might be alpha for the chat. So if you're listening here, we've got all those 3D models uploaded into the underground, but we haven't turned that feature on for the community. That'll happen next week. You'll be able to go in there, download the files, play with them, make your own animations, import them into games. Interoperability is a really big part of what we've been building in the Futureverse, and so making those assets your own. You own the IP if you own the avatar, so you can go and start to create your own businesses off the top of that.
One thing that I think's been clever by engaging with the XRP community, despite my initial skepticism, the fact that they're such a big community. This video alone has had about 4,000 views between its live stream and the recorded version, and the On The Chain channel has 25,000 followers. For reference, the FLUF World YouTube account has only 1.3 thousand followers. So it's a clever marketing tool alone, but also keep in mind that XRP is on basically every major exchange, meaning in theory, we should easily be able to get assets in and out of the root network via XRP and its extensive links to centralized exchanges. Before I continue, if you're new to the channel, hi, welcome, I'm Gerry, host of Into the Futureverse, where I cover alpha and updates on all things FLUF World and the Futureverse ecosystem. And if you enjoy this content, consider supporting the channel by smashing that like button, hitting subscribe, and hitting the notifications bell so you get all my videos in a timely fashion. The Hume Genesis collection has now revealed, and the floor price is steadily rising. You can pick up the rare NFT, which is actually the most common, for under half an ETH, but there's only 15 out of 800 before we hit a 1 ETH floor. And as suggested previously, the legendaries are now fetching almost 6 ETH. I expect the floor price to keep rising from there because there's only 30 of them out there. Next up is Project Tempus. They now have their own Twitter profile and are following Aaron, David, and some of the Altered State Machine members. And this alpha leak from David some weeks ago suggests that this is going to be a modern take on a graphic novel. If I had to guess, I would think that it's going to be a community-driven comic series that uses the AI art generated by the Thingies to form some of its content. And speaking of the Thingies, there was some further alpha dropped during the week. It was revealed that the Thingies' fur is in fact their DNA, and is one of the two things that impacts the art that they create. The other being the backpack and the class of art that it forms. Each Thingy is unique and will see the world differently, and therefore output different art based off the same input. So it's going to be fascinating to see what these little guys can generate. Some of the leaks of the art that they create has been truly stunning and up there with other popular AI platforms. On top of this, Aaron revealed that in further iterations, they'll be able to create 3D art and metaverse objects and eventually create their own worlds entirely. And I suspect that Buzzies will be able to do something similar, but for music. Their tight relationship with the Party Bears and the Burrows is going to be fascinating to see play out, especially once the party packs drop. Now finally, the big alpha that everyone's been waiting for was this morning's Twitter space in regards to Goblin Town. The team has decided to rebrand Goblin Town to Gods and Goblins, which ties in better with its lore and avoids confusion with the goblinstown.wtf NFT collection. Now I wanted to give a quick shout out to NFT Bro because he does a great job of summarizing every Twitter space within minutes of it finishing. So if you really want a quick overview of all the pertinent information, give him a follow. Now the goblintown.com website has been updated, and it certainly has some catching eye candy in the background. It shows you some of the Unreal Engine 5 actual game environment that we'll be able to soon play in, and it also outlines the path, which we'll all be following to participate and help shape how Gods and Goblins evolves. The early stages will involve pledging some NFT assets to be eligible to be sacrificed. Now this is going to be completely gamified and there's still many unknowns, but there'll be more alpha dropping in the coming days. My best guess is this: Goblin Town is going to be just one of 7 world environments that we can all play in and compete against. Different factions if you like. It'll probably be up to us to decide who we want to pledge our assets toward and which team we want to join. Is FLUF World itself one of the other 7 worlds? It looks like to me that the burrows are underground and the above ground is the Third Kingdom, made up of the 7 different factions, playable environments. Interestingly, the Beyond team updated their Twitter banner to this. This clearly looks like the outside of a burrow door, which makes me think each burrow will be connected to a different land. Maybe one burrow can connect to any land, and it's up to us at any given moment as to which environment we'll be able to explore. Or perhaps you need a burrow for each and every faction or world you want to take part in. One thing to keep in mind is that 15% of all mycelium is going to go towards the gamification of the land mechanics, and it's well known that each burrow represents a different number of parcels of land. The den is 1 parcel, suites are 4, the high roller is 9, and the studio snoop is a massive 16. Now, it has been indicated that you will have to actively participate to receive some of these incentives, but I wouldn't be surprised to see similar DeFi mechanics such as the altered state machine Genome Mining with Asto Energy, where liquidity providers between the Asto and USDC tokens are rewarded in a non-tradable token that is used for participating in the protocol. Maybe there'll be a mycelium energy, where we are incentivized to provide liquidity between mycelium and XRP or mycelium and USDC to receive mycelium energy to use to build out our in-game environments. Clever mechanics such as this incentivize people to hold tokens, provide liquidity, which is important for any tradable asset, while also rewarding active participation. I'm quite looking forward to seeing more details of the tokenomics. Now back onto the Third Kingdom and the 7 different gods and worlds that they could represent. Maybe the Goblins and Goblin Town is just one of the 7. Could we see things like witches and wizards? Maybe a skeleton zombie pirate crew? Perhaps some trolls and dwarves? Or some elves and fairies? It all seems likely, but as we go down the path together, we'll all have a say in the way that this evolves. Now, another big alpha leak was that the Root network looks like it's going to be launching in the October timeframe, with a testnet potentially up within the next month. And if I had to guess, I imagine there'll be no new mints on Ethereum mainnet, and new assets will natively exist on the Root network going forward, which might explain the hold-up in certain things arriving, like the party packs. It seemed that there was a sudden shift in focus towards the end of March and early April. For a time, it looked like they were going to encourage migrating Ethereum assets over to the Layer 2 SensNet, but that seems to have shifted towards the Root network. Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and maybe consider watching one of my other videos. Bunnies up!